let's have a chat about foams. A great tyre is only as good as what's inside it, so we've got some used Canyon Trail foams here, so a little bit worn out, but you know, pretty standard. Quite stiff because, you know, TRXs aren't the lightest thing in the world. This is kind of what you'll find in most Chinese kind of tyres. Most stock tyres come with these if you don't ask for a stronger foam. Proline, now this one's been dipped in water quite a bit and it had a brass inner ring, so it's got a lovely yellow colour. They're normally a lot whiter, and yeah, they are just, I don't know how heavy the trucks are that the Proline guys test them with, but I'm guessing that they weigh somewhere between sort of -10 and -20 kilos, because you put this on any kind of normal, even the G-Made at sort of about 2.5 kilos, they just squash and fold and twist and get stuck in rocks and break CVDs. So the Rowdies that I bought, I found on eBay, and one of the options that was with them was their dual stage foams, and they are brilliant. They look familiar. I think they're a rip-off of someone else's foams. I can't remember who, but what they've done is, instead of going the same as Proline and doing like a moulded closed cell foam on the inside, they've got this foam that just feels like a very firm standard foam. Not as firm as, say, these ones, which are running the Proline foams. They're very stiff, but firm enough that a 3.5 kilo Traxxas sort of barely pressed on them, didn't cause any problems side hilling. They'd probably be good for, you know, a heavier truck as well as a normal truck. Now the outer foam is very similar to the sort of standard foam that you get on most, but actually it is a lot softer and it's marginally wider. If you buy these with the tyres, then you pay about an extra $4 or $5 for a pair of foams. So this tyre, you get 2 of these tyres, 2 of these foams for about $18, which means that you can do all 4 corners of your car for less than $40, or in the UK about £30. Delivery wasn't much. I, as you saw from the start, bought quite a few, so it worked out quite fair, and they were delivered within about a week, to be honest. I've run the Proline foams and I don't find them as good as these, and we'll talk about that now. Right, so these 2 trucks, both running the same tyre, both running different setups. This one's gone through the Climb Like a Spider process to change the geometry and make it climb even better than a stock TRX. This one is running no extra weight, has been slimmed down and thinned out so that it's probably about the best performing I can get it. I've got the suspension set up absolutely brilliant, doesn't hop or skip when it's trying to climb, it just blasts up stuff. I am running the Proline dual stages in here, and just because I had them and I only ordered 1 set of 2 sets of the Rowdy foams, and then I ordered more after running these. The inner here is the closed cell foam, and what I tend to find with the G-Made, and if we look at the sort of profile of the tyre, with this Proline foam in it, it gives a squarer top to the tyre. Now I'm running a much wider wheel here. This is a 25mm wide internal ring. But the main challenge I've had with this is because the Proline closed cell foam has like a hard edge on it. So if we pull one of these apart, it has the same kind of hard edge, but because the foam is so firm, it doesn't have that give that this foam has. And what tends to happen is when you're side hilling, you'll turn, and you can see this is coming off the ground and eventually you get to a tipping point, and it's quite a sharp tipping point, and it just flops. The foams on these Louise ones, on this Traxxas one, that's using these foams, and it's using a wheel that is 19mm wide internally. What this allows is the tyre to have more of a bulge over the top. So it's more of a rounded profile. That rounded profile means that as the tyre's rolling, it can get into the foam a lot better. And actually I can sort of demonstrate on here, this white foam does have some bend to it. So you can get to a much better angle before you then fall over and roll your truck and regret doing that move. But, you know, we're out there to have fun. You can see that these obviously are not shelf queens. They get driven. I crash a lot, and I crash and crash and crash. Try it, and I will get to the top. And every time I crash, I try to learn from where I've gone wrong. You can see here, there's no battery in here, but even if there was a battery in, the battery is mounted near the back anyway. You can see, you know, it's got a nice kind of aired down look to it. So it does, given that this is a bobbed truck and covered in stickers and chopped to within an inch of its life, it does have that kind of hardcore off-roader aired down tyre look. But yeah, I do find that you can, when the truck's on its side, the foams still aren't, they're not bending, they're not twisting. There's an amount of flex, but you know, if I push on this, you can't hear the rim hitting the table. You will not see the rim hitting the table because there's just so much tyre, so much foam, and it's a much more progressive tip over. The Proline foams that are in this G-Made, it just feels much more like once it goes, the whole thing really flicks, whereas this is much more progressive when it gets to that point. It's almost like you can lay it down gently, even though this thing weighs probably about 1 kilo more than this one. So, final thoughts. Yeah, Club5 Racing on eBay, about $18 for a set of 2 foams and 2 tyres. If this video has been of any use to you, then please consider giving me a thumbs up and smash that subscribe button and hit the bell, and you'll find out more about the Climb Like a Spider and some of the other projects that I've got coming up. Cheers!